What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl, Monique Nicole, and I am back with another video. Before we get started, honey, if you are new to my channel, please make sure you are subscribed. Go ahead and click that subscribe button down below, right there, right there. While you're at it, go ahead and click the thumbs up button to like this video. It is an easy and free way to help support my channel. Okay. So, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a disclaimer. Your girl is having some technical difficulties. I am currently using my iPhone to do this video right now, which is not the way I want to do things, but here we are. So y'all please be patient with me, bear with me through this while I try to do this video via my iPhone. Now, without further ado, let me introduce my lovely, beautiful, talented panel that I have this evening, this fine evening on a Monday night. Oh, I got to my right, Moochie in the building. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? What's up?
And down
What
below,
is
we
up?
have the beautiful, talented, gifted Miss K in the building.
Hi.
Meow,
From my
meow.
bedroom, out of my studio tonight.
And at the bottom corner, I have my girl Crystal in the building.
Hello, ladies. Hey, everybody. Let's get this shit started.
Bobby had a long weekend.
What's that?
Uh-oh. So, you guys, if y'all saw the thumbnail, honey, you know why we here. We got some things to discuss. We have some opinions to share, some theories, some things to get off our chest. We are going to be talking about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, okay, and their recent revelation. Now, if you've been living under a rock, or if you're just sick of them and tuning them out, which I can understand, Jada Pinkett Smith is releasing a memoir. I believe it comes out either today or tomorrow, actually. She's releasing a memoir. And of course, like everybody else in Hollywood, she's going on a press tour. She's doing interviews after interviews and different things like that to promote her book. And of course, in her book, she's talking about what? Her life and her marriage and Will Smith. Oh, and Tupac. So she's discussing a lot of things. And with that came a revelation that she and Will Smith have actually been separated for the past 7 years. Now, to some people, it came as a shock. To other people, not so much. So I'm going to kick this off with asking my beautiful panel just what their initial thoughts were when they first heard the news. Did they care? Did they not care? Were they surprised? Were they not surprised? What were y'all's general thoughts when Jada announced that they have actually been separated, in her words, living separate lives for the past 7 years, which to me is a long time? Let's see. Who will I start with? I'm going to start with Moochie.
You muted, Mama.
This is not news. We all knew all of this. They had an open marriage. They was speculating it for years. This is not news to me. She wants attention.
Oh,
Not news. It's not news.
well,
Wow.
She overshares. It's like ridiculous now at this point. Go sit down. Go get a hobby and throw the red table in the garbage. That joker need to go right in the dumpster.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Okay.
advice? How you gonna give relationship advice and y'all are not haven't been in a relationship for 7 years and y'all sitting here saying that's cool? How is that cool?
Well,
You're not in a relationship. You already have problems. Y'all trying to figure it out. How you trying to give advice?
That's true.
what you think, Chris? What
Yes.
what's your thoughts on Moochie? What she
I
said, and then
feel like they've been told y'all they were separated.
I just
yeah,
said it. That's why I said it's no news.
It's not, but at the same time, you can be separated and still married and going through regular married problems. Separated. I mean, that's how I really think. They've been married a long time, and I
20.
think it's a long time. So I mean, they might need a break.
Okay, but she's oversharing, and that is between you and your husband.
But did he put it in his book
That is
too?
between you and your husband. She did it too. But did he come out and talk about everything that was in the book like she did? Be
I mean,
real,
I
be
feel
honest
like
with
he
me.
did. I feel like
Be
people looked over what he said because he definitely said that he cheated. He definitely shared the stuff that he was doing as well. But I feel
And
like
he's
we
not
overlooked
innocent
it.
in this. He's not innocent in this. Don't think 1 minute I'm agreeing with things that he's doing. I'm not taking his side. I feel like this is y'all marriage and it is not the world's business.
I mean, that could be true, but I think in today's time, people are trying to share that stuff might look differently because I think we have a false sense of what longevity could look like. And it could look like separation, but still together. It could look like we have love for each other, we're best friends, and we're still together. And I think we're trying to control their narrative and what he should do or what she should do. But I think when you really think about everything they would have to split up, I think it makes sense that they're still together but not together and working through their issues. Because I mean that's a lot. Because I mean, Will, if he wanted to leave, he could have been left. The truth is
Mhm.
he don't want to leave, she don't want to leave.
They don't
It's
want to
a
leave each
comfort.
other.
It's a
They
comfort
don't want to leave each
level
other.
that is like really serious that I think we're not realizing and like understanding because they could be best friends and be separated and doing other stuff. And I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, but she
Okay,
don't want
I'm
to
gonna
leave
put
and
it.
he don't want to leave, but that's none of our business. We don't need to know all of this. She's
Yeah,
oversharing. She's doing
But
let
too
you know,
much.
me
I think when people get in certain them late ages, they want to overshare shit. Like just to be honest, I don't know if I can say the S word, but like I really feel like when we get later in age, like people want to overshare situations that you ain't got to share.
let me get to Miss K and ask her the initial question. What was your initial thought when you first heard that they've been separated for 7 years?
Um, listen, I don't keep up with this stuff, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going over something, and when I check my email, I'll see the headlines and it says something about Jada says they've been separated for years, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. I didn't click on it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I don't care about their life. But I'm here because the stuff that is has been going on. It's very interesting that as I start to look and hear what she's saying and hear and listen, because as I told you guys, I was listening to his book, and it's just a lot going on. And I was not surprised that they were separated, but my thing is, if you guys are separated, why did we have to go through all that hoopla with them with the whole
Mm-hmm.
smack situation?
Very good point.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, y'all had us going through all of that for nothing. Like if you're separated, why have y'all been fronting this whole time? Going to red carpet events, all of this, all of that. Like, why now say that you're separated? That's my thing. Why say it now? I mean, and then the guy done went and smacked somebody for her and all of this. I know yeah, done screwed up the Oscars when a black man was the one that was, behind it for the first time, and like he just
Yeah.
tainted everything. So it's just like this whole thing is just dumb to me. So I don't know. That's my take. But I would like to say really quick, I'm sorry, about, and I know we're not going to get into that yet because you were talking about, we were going to talk about, like the dynamics of marriage and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been married for a very long time as well. And I'm going through my own situation and I decided to share it, but I didn't overshare because I don't feel like it's people's business to know all of everything that went on that
Mm-hmm.
involves my separation. But it was because I felt it on my spirit that I'm going to share my pain so that it can possibly help some other people. Because I'm
Mm.
learning that sometimes pain that people go through, they might not be dealing with it as well as I am dealing with it. Because I've had some really serious like thoughts have been out there that have made me want to self
Mm.
medicate, made me want to just say, I don't want to live anymore. You know what I'm saying? So if I
Mm-hmm.
can help somebody else and share my
Yes.
story and encourage them and say, you can do it because I'm doing it. And even though I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it, I'm here, I share my story. But I don't believe in oversharing. I feel like what she has been doing on the red carpet, that's the red carpet.
The red table.
The red table. That's her own little red carpet, honey. The red table, I just feel like it is too much. So I agree with Moochie. It's team too much. You're sharing too much, and at some point it becomes, castration. That's how I feel. And I'll share more
Mm.
later as we go along because I'll get into why I'm saying what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. I hear you on that, but I'm also on the flip side. Like on one token, I'm like, okay, it can feel like oversharing, but then on the other side, it's like, what if her sharing her story is also helping somebody else or making someone else feel like they aren't crazy, you know what I mean, or they're, you know what I mean, like she could be helping. Like when Red Table Talk first started, I really enjoyed it because you got to see them on a vulnerable level and they
Mm-hmm.
were discussing, and people have to remember Red Table Talk is not just about Jada. Like she brings guests on and they discuss different topics and different things, and she brings attention to a lot of serious issues. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is a nice show, and it does highlight a lot of important things and tells a lot of other people's stories. So it's not just Jada, and it's not just the Jada and Will show. It does highlight other things. But I can understand how it can come off like they overshare, especially when it became uh the entanglement thing. It became a lot, and I think people are sick of it now. For many years, Will and Jada were that black love. They were that prime example in Hollywood for a lot of people, and they kept things kind of under wrap for many many years. So it is kind of weird, like you guys went from being quiet to now sharing all your business. Like everything. So I can see how people are irritated. Hold on, we lost Crystal and I'm trying to see. Y'all know I'm on my phone, so it's not
Yeah.
popping up the way it normally would pop up on a desktop.
Oh
These people,
man.
Tingleman, Tupac.
I wonder,
Listen, I don't know. I
is it gonna is it gonna show if she pops back up? Oh,
I don't know. I can't even see from back here. Of course,
sorry, y'all. Bear with me a
it's
second.
okay.
I want to bring Crystal back in, but I don't even know if she's present.
Inga says Jada and Will were never couple goals for me. The crazy thing is they were like, I don't know if they were ever couple goals, but I really admired both of them. I thought they had
Yeah.
real love. And the last few, I guess ever since the smack, I mean, I guess I've started, it brought their relationship kind of to a head as far as like letting us see everything. And it just started to look a little crazy. And I was like, man, I really thought they was some real, I was here
Oh,
for it. I
yeah.
loved them.
There she is.
But
I found her.
hey, I
I
loved them.
still love them. I still love them.
Yeah, I'm
Don't give
over
me.
them. I'm over them. I'm
Mm,
not gonna say I don't hate them or anything. I'm just over them. I'm so over them.
I
I
was
love
just gonna
them.
say,
now,
don't get me wrong. I like them, but I just don't like this. It just doesn't look good.
Now I'm gonna bring that I've been feeling, and I may be on a island by myself. I'm gonna ask y'all this: Why do y'all think that Jada is getting the brunt of the blame? For me, for some reason, it just seems like people have been gunning for her. If you go on social media, if you read the blogs, if you read the comments, people are really holding her feet to the fire. And I'm trying to figure out why. Maybe because she's been the most vocal lately, but I need people to understand that Will Smith is not a victim. Um
Right. Can we
from
preach
Well,
that? That man
I
is
he's
don't
grown
think
as hell.
he's not
I
a
don't think he's
victim.
a victim. He did his dirt too. I don't
But
think that
Moochie,
for 1 minute.
I'm speaking to the people who really like, if you see some of the comments, Moochie, like people are really acting like Will Smith is this wounded dog who's at home eating Ben and Jerry ice cream, watching
Mhm.
sad love movies, and just like they're acting like
Distraught.
Will Smith
He's just
like
distraught.
distraught.
Like,
And
oh my gosh,
I
poor
need people to
Will.
How do
understand.
you know he's not though?
I'm not saying he
I'm
I
just
hasn't.
don't
I'm
saying.
not.
think ain't nothing wrong with him. I'm sorry. That like if
Really?
he wanted to
You
go,
really?
he could have been left. I don't think he wants to go. I think we're fighting a battle for him,
It seems
and
toxic.
people are
It
trying to
does.
say, "Oh, poor Will," and "Oh, Will, you should leave." He don't want to leave. He doesn't want
He
to leave. He doesn't want to leave. He's been with that girl over 20 years. He could have been left. He could have left a long time ago. He could have left as soon as he knew she was sleeping with August Alsina. He could have left. He could have dipped out. He don't want to leave. He's happy where he's at.
There's
And she gonna
something I
keep
was
she
watching
gonna keep him
something
in? I'm sorry.
I was watching something where they had made some type of promise of not getting a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I guess that seems to be the issue because that's an issue for me. You know, I'm not gonna say that I'm for divorce per se, but like there are certain things you just have like you need to cut ties, and it's just toxic at this point, you know. Um, if he's not happy, she's not happy, and she's clearly letting the world know that he's not doing it for her. They need to cut it. Like forget about the promise. Let it go. That's it. Let
But
it
I
go.
feel like that's for them. I feel like we're literally trying to control their narrative. And it
I'm
might be a
not.
season. And I think we're so involved that we're not allowing them to go through whatever season they're going through and everything. If they made a promise, then it's more than likely it's just a bad season.
But
It
how
doesn't
long is this
mean,
season gonna go on
I
for? They've
mean,
been
but
married over
that's not
20
for us
something
to
years.
tell.
I don't, to be honest, people already know. I don't give a damn. I'm just here because I'm talking about it with, with Monique, and she knows daggone well I had to actually look for these things so I could have a conversation. So I'm not holding nothing to them. I got my own
No,
issues,
but
but
I
my
agree
thing
with
is
Crystal. I agree with Crystal. I don't not when I say certain things, remember it's not saying that you guys feel this way. It's just
right.
speaking. It's just speaking to what a
Yeah, I
lot of
think
people.
generally everyone's too invested in their marriage and what their idea of what marriage should look like. And
Mm,
so we're trying to create this narrative of who's sad, who's a victim. And I think that they're more open to their lifestyle than people want to admit. And so it's causing an issue because society is telling us that that is not acceptable. When honestly, I mean, it really should be acceptable, in my opinion. I think everyone's love story looks different. Sincerely. I mean, I'm married
yeah,
and I can tell you now, like love stories to me look definitely different
right.
because people go through different changes. And I know when you probably get in your 40s and 50s, it gets even worse with your changes of where you want to be, where you don't want to be, where you're trying to go. But these people have been together for a long time. And I think their friendship is what is making it last. And I think some people don't understand that because we're so quick to cut people off in today's society. So it's like, no, you shouldn't be going through that. Or no, you should move on. But like, who's to really say?
And that's kind
Yeah.
of how that's partially how I feel, and I'll touch on this more when we talk about marriage. Um, as a whole, but I, I just almost feel like if it works for them, let them have at it. Like if it's not conventional, it's not conventional. It doesn't make sense to me, but if it makes sense for them and they seem to be content and they seem to be happy with their arrangement, because at this point it's definitely an arrangement and an
It
agreement
is.
that they have with each other.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I could do it, but I'm just saying that that's what it seems like. At this point, they have an agreement, they have an arrangement, they've agreed to stay together, they've agreed to not get a divorce, they've agreed to live separate lives.
But did they
They've
sign a prenup? That's like a real question for me.
oh
Right.
that,
That it is.
Like
It's no
I'm not
prenup.
I'm not trying to be
It's
funny,
no
and I
prenup.
know she might be oversharing, but I mean when you didn't sign a prenup, that's a lot of crap you got to split up. I don't blame them
Mhm.
from not wanting to do that. I really don't, because that's a lot. It's a lot.
Mm.
It's more than likely completely easier to stay
They
married.
should have got a prenup. Yep. Cheaper to
But you
keep
know,
a
back in that
Depa.
time, it wasn't a
Cheaper to keep
normalcy. Like you
a
weren't getting prenups back in the 90s and stuff. Like,
right.
especially our people, we weren't getting prenups. Like maybe other cultures were, but we weren't getting that. So I don't really blame, because he might be looking like it's cheaper to keep them
Yeah, cheaper to keep a Depa. Of
and everything.
course.
And like I said, when celebrities get older, they want to overshare. If we're being honest, like all of them do. If
yeah,
they've
they be
been in the
wanting to tell it
industry for a
right.
long time, they want to overshare. Like you be looking like, I don't want to know this, but they just feel a need to overshare.
But
Mm.
that's like usually somebody like, I'll give you an example. Quincy Jones, how
Mm-hmm.
he's was oversharing lately. This is
Yes.
totally different. This is outright blatant disrespect.
Mm.
She's
Okay.
disrespectful. She
But did you
publicly
see his
humiliated
post?
him. Mal-
Hold on.
Did you
Let
see his post though? Because his post made me
I
feel
saw
like,
his post. He agrees with it, so then that's it. He's already
yeah,
out of the. He's already checked out. He's
mm-hmm.
already checked out. He don't care at this point anymore. She's stuck, and she mad because she's stuck.
Mm.
Listen, all of this is going on because that book is coming out
Right.
or
She's
is
just
out.
trying to. She just wants attention, like I said.
A lot
She
of
wants
people are calling her
attention.
a liar for saying all the stuff she's saying about Tupac. So I don't
She
know.
Ooh.
is. She
A lot of people are
is.
saying
And
that.
we're gonna get to that. That's a nice little segue. But you know what? I want to first, Moochie, can you pull up the clip that's of the YouTube clip I texted you with Will Smith, the ET interview that I sent you via text?
I got it.
Okay. Um Now I don't know how to give you control uh using my iPhone, Lord.
This is sad. That's all I know. I feel like it's sad.
Yes, I feel like it's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing for black people, because now you're showing how the black family is breaking down. They want to keep breaking us down, and people's not seeing this. Y'all busy arguing about who's right and who's wrong in this, but y'all not looking at what the bigger picture in front of your face. And the more
mm,
they split us up, the easier it's gonna be to conquer us. And nobody's seeing the big picture.
mm.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And they use these puppets as
You're on mute,
to
Crystal.
convey
You're on mute.
messages.
Unmute yourself, Crystal.
what's the big
And that's
picture?
that.
What's the big
The
picture?
big picture, the destruction of the black family. So they'll use these people that everybody used as couple goals as to see it crumble. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
To,
Mm-mm,
you see how
mm-mm.
people so invested in this? And
I
like
feel
we're
like people
invested
just
in this
make.
when you're
I just.
talking
I
about
feel
it.
like people use that as they use celebrities as an excuse to not be what they're supposed to be in relationships. To me personally, it's easy to be in relationships if you want to be in one. I think you people
Exactly.
That's
use
not true.
examples. Like I know Facebook is going down the line, and men are like, "Oh well, yeah, that's why I'm not married," and "Oh yeah, that's why I don't." Baby, you could pick a girl who got the sense God gave her, and you could be the man the sense God gave you. It's a choice. These people are literally making up excuses to not be married, to not be committed to a person, to not love a person fully. They're literally picking relationships like, oh, well, yeah, you see Will and Jada? I don't want to be them. Baby, we not 350 million strong. We don't have that in the bank account. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
We're not talking
You
You,
about the
saying
money part. We just talking about a
but they don't,
relationship.
the men don't
They're
want
not.
to
They're not.
be.
They're not
I feel
mentioning
like
money.
men don't want to be in relationships and they blame relationships that they see for the reason why. Because their own families, you done been in family members relationships where they stay married, they've been married, you see it, like you see 20, 30, 40. It doesn't, you don't even need a celebrity to see that. And they're married and they're making it work. You're just choosing not to make it work. These same people have parents who have been married for 40 years. And when their parents' anniversary come up, oh, happy anniversary to my parents. Oh, they've been married for such a long time. Oh, they love each other. But then they'll use Will and Jada's relationship and be like, oh, that's why I don't get married. Them two don't match.
I
hmm.
never said that.
No, not, but I promise you, I have a lot of people on my TL on my timeline who have parents who are married, and then they'll use Will and Jada for a reason they're not married. That ain't got, baby. Those are not your actual influences for why you're
No,
not
I hear
married.
what you're saying. A lot of people in this, especially to me in this generation,
It's an excuse.
use
It's just an excuse.
celebrities as almost like a blueprint for what. Like I don't know. I do think sometimes like lately it's been a lot of I don't know. I don't know if it's a generation thing or what it is.
It is. Because people use that as an excuse for why you do what you do. Instead of saying that I really just don't want to be married or I don't want to be in a committed relationship. So then you use them as an example. Well, look how Jada doing Will. Look how depressed he looked. Look how sad he looked. He's a victim. That man is grown as all get out.
Mm.
If he sincerely wants to leave and pay her alimony, he could.
It's
He
yeah,
don't.
like I said earlier, they're both to me, they're both content with what they have.
And that
Their
really happens though.
arrangement,
And I think we don't talk about that enough. There's a lot of people who, once you get to that 20, 30, 40-year mark, you don't leave. You just
yeah.
don't leave. It's easier to be with that person. No matter what it might look like, it's so much easier to be with them. And I
No,
think
it's not.
we don't
For
have those
some
real
people,
conversations.
Miss K,
No,
not everybody, but
no,
there
I
No,
are a
no,
lot of
know.
and not everybody,
I
but I
know.
think we need to have that conversation
I
that a
know.
lot of people stay married because you've reached a certain milestone and it's just
Hmm.
easier. Not
Yeah.
saying that everyone does it, but a lot of people really do it
a lot of people do stick
and
with it.
Oh
everything.
yeah, a lot of people stay in the toxic. They
Yeah.
do. They
Mm-hmm.
Because
stay in the
because you still view
hurt
that
and
person
the
as a best
pain,
friend, so
and
it's
they
hard to just walk
Hold
away.
on.
and because that person becomes like your family. So
Yeah.
trust me, I'm living it right now. I know. But I
Right.
refuse. I
Mm-hmm.
refuse. See, that's another thing about when you get into your 40s. At some point, I'm not that little 19-year-old, 20-year-old girl that could withstand all that. Now I'm looking at I don't want to be involved in the drama. I can do better. I'm not trying to have a heart attack because somebody can't get their stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather go through the pain of separating and divorce so that my ladder could be greater and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be living in this anymore. There comes a time when you have to get off the freaking roller coaster. And my thing with Will and Jada is I believe that it has to do with money. It has to. If they don't have a freaking prenup, it's because there's money involved. The dude don't want to part with it. And listen, he might have something against her where he feel like you did me dirty as far as not cheating wise or anything, just maybe embarrassment at this point. And
Mm.
he's probably like, I'm not coming off this cash. So we just about to live separate lives or live separately, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? If they're separated, more power to them. That's fine, whatever. But that's the problem, though. When you don't freaking sign a prenup and y'all rich, that's the problem. And Jada's a talented person. She couldn't get out there and get back into, acting and this, that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She don't need that.
Right,
But I'm
right, right.
just saying, I think it has a lot to do with money. And I think a lot of embarrassment has taken place, a lot of castrating. I know people are saying stuff like she emasculated him and all of this. I mean, I feel that's true. I feel that's true. I'm not saying that he didn't do anything to her, but I definitely feel like it's a lot. Like when you go back to the whole that whole all the shenanigans with the slap, she didn't
Hmm.
really have his back like that. If you guys remember,
But he grown. He shouldn't have slapped that man.
no, he shouldn't have. We went through this already. He shouldn't have
Yeah.
slapped him. I was
I'm
pissed off.
sorry.
I was pissed
I'm
off
not.
at
I
him.
don't have any blame for Jada. His
Yeah,
grown self should have sat down at his feet
I don't
and did a
appreciate what
laugh.
he did. I didn't like
Yeah,
what he did.
we
I
all
thought that
do
was some
that.
chump stuff. We already went over this. But I'm
Hmm.
talking about the fact that as the wife, she didn't say a daggone thing to defend this dude. She let him go down with the freaking ship, and that was that. And said, "Bye, you sinking. I'm right here on board. Bye." And if that's your
Hmm.
husband, no, because if that's your husband, you don't do that. Not in public, right?
Are you
And so
saying?
you
Are
make the
you?
I
decision.
agree.
Mm-mm.
You make the
I agree with
decision
that.
to stand by your man when you're still married to him.
But
Okay,
I feel like
and
that's the thing of
that's
our
where
putting
I
our
am right now
opinions on
because
it.
I'm still married. So yeah,
You don't think that was disrespectful?
I express my
Hold on. I have
feelings.
a question. I have a
Can I
question
finish
to
my
what?
point first? I'm
Yes.
sorry. I expressed my feelings and what I'm going through, but I didn't try um to emasculate my husband or take him down for whatever he did or make him look bad. I tried to still protect him because he's still my husband at the end of the day and the father of my children. So I'm not going to be out here trying to freaking dog him out even though he hurt me. And so at the
Hmm.
end of the day, if y'all didn't want to tell that y'all was separated, but y'all want to act like y'all all cute on the red carpet and stuff, going to the Oscars and you acting like you supporting him there. But then now when stuff hit the fan, you ain't got a damn thing to say. It's almost like you throwing rocks and hiding your hands. You ain't got nothing to say. You freaking looking like you little itty bitty puppet master. Let's not sit here and try to act like women do not be manipulating the hell out of situations. We're not
Yup.
going to do that. All right. I'm team ladies all day long, but I'm also team right and wrong. And if I see that somebody look like them and they are manipulating something, listen, look, I'm 41, right? And I would like to say I have old school type of, I'm not from the old school like that, but I'm not like this new generation stuff. So what you do is you
Hmm.
do not disrespect your man in public. You
Yeah.
act stupid with him inside the house. I'm not saying that's cool. You do that in public, that's just totally wrong and disrespectful. And that's what she's been doing. And if y'all decide that y'all don't want to be together or y'all want to be separated, then just shut your freaking mouth while we outside. Now her mom is over here talking about some, oh, I'm tired of it. I'm tired. Well, you should have told your daughter to shut the heck up then. And I'm done. Sorry.
So my question is, what was Jada supposed to do? Like, she released a statement on Red Table Talk
Oh God.
addressing the matter, saying basically she's hoping for peace and forgiveness and all that.
How you
What was
hoping for
what
peace
was
and you
she what
causing all
was
this destruction?
but
How
how did
did she
but no, how
cause
did she
that?
cause it though? We just said
To
she didn't.
me, with the all the
Will had
opportunity to
no
bring that
business getting up.
table talk, all of that, you bring it, all of that.
No, we're talking about the slap. We're talking about the slap, Moochie. We're talking about the
How
slap.
we back at this again?
No, we were talking about the slap.
No, but I'm just like why? Like she
Mm-mm.
she to me, she was the puppet master in this. He should be responsible for his behavior. Don't get me wrong. And I always feel like she threw rocks and hit her hand with that. At first, I thought it was fake, and now she sounds like it's still
I feel
kind of
like
bit could have
everyone
been
has
fake,
the
but
perception of
why?
what Will Smith is supposed to be, and when he acted out, it's so easy to sit here and blame her because in our heads he acted out. Versus that might be Will Smith that you don't know.
Yeah, well, it actually is because we're seeing all this stuff. So I guess she wanted to say, you know
Well,
what? You put on this fake persona like
right.
you, Mr. Perfect. So I'm gonna show the world who you are. That's
Well,
what it
even
was.
in his
It was
memoir,
on.
he said that he wasn't fake. That's why I said it's like we are taking her book and her tell all, and we're crucifying it. But
Oh, it's not a tell all.
when
That's
he
what her
did
mother
his
said.
memoir and he said what he said in his book, we didn't read into it like we're doing hers.
I
We didn't
agree.
I'm
break it
reading
down
into
the
it.
way he did hers
I'm
because
reading
he
into
talked
it.
about infidelity. He talked about their problems. He talked about their separation. He talked about all of it. but it wasn't depicted the way we're depicting hers.
I'm
It
just
You know
wasn't
gonna
a
be
why?
honest.
problem the way it
You
Y'all
know
is
don't
why,
with
have to.
Crystal?
hers.
Y'all
You
might
know
not
why,
agree.
Crystal? I feel like it wasn't depicted that way for the simple fact is he didn't go out there to particularly pick out all the embarrassing points to bring that out to sell the book. He just
I
talked
think he
mostly about
did.
himself, not like how she did.
I
She
think
did
he
it.
did. I
He
think
was
we
more.
really overlooked it because he's the Fresh Prince. I promise you, Will Smith gets a lot of passes because he's
I
Will
think he
Smith.
gets a lot of passes. I think he gets
Because he's
a
supposed to be this
lot.
perfect patsy. He's supposed to be perfect. Like he's this goofball. He doesn't really do wrong. He's not. I watched the Oscars live.
I
So
watched
When
it
that's
too.
I
Me
say
and her
I
was
had to
on the
rewind that
phone.
thing on back, because I was like, oh, did you just let that man in public like that? Like
Me
I
and her
really
was
had
on the
to.
phone together.
And my kids and me and my mom were watching that live. Like I was
And
like,
I didn't
Mom.
think it was real either at
I was
first.
like,
I
Mama,
was
no,
like, is
he
this
slapped
real?
him. And when they went to him and he said, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. I was like, oh no, baby, that's real. That's anger. That's anger.
It's
And
anger.
so it is. It's all because
But he knew also
goes
that he
about
could
the
bounce
other
back.
stuff.
Celebrities know how to bounce back. They take a minute off,
He ain't really
they
bounce.
go silent, and then they know how to bounce back. They really do. They're very meticulous with that. If we really pay attention, they will go absent. They will go, ooh, let me go hide in the back. And then
mhm.
they'll come back out like, oh, everything's fine. And
But
to me, that's really what he did.
I agree. I might be on an island by myself. I really don't care. But if we really look at everything, I think Jada receives a lot of hate that's not warranted. She receives a lot of hatred that I feel like is not fair. I
Because
think
people want
girl,
Will Smith to be with somebody else. The truth of the matter is the truth of the matter. People do not think that Jada deserves to be with Will Smith. And I think that's when we try to pick people's partners. And I don't think that's fair or
I
makes
don't care
sense. You
who
can't
she's
fight them
with.
battles.
Yeah.
People like who they like. And we know that in real life. You'll have a friend, a cousin dating and married to somebody, you be like, baby,
So can I say
you can
something?
leave.
Is it all right if I say something? I don't know if you wanted to
mm,
do a segue, Monique.
no.
'Cause
Go
I
ahead,
know.
babe. Go ahead.
So, there was I like I said, I've never been against Jada or Will, and I was very upset with him when he did that. But here's the thing: a lot of stuff has come out after the
Mhm.
fact, and
Mhm.
Will was looking like enemy number one, right? And then stuff started coming out about Jada. So it wasn't like people were looking at Will like, oh, he's so innocent, this and that. I mean, there was a lot of people that was really pissed off at him, right? And so you started to hear a lot of different weird things about like the way the children were being raised and this whole letter that the daughter wrote to Tupac, dead Tupac, like, please bring my come back for my mommy because she misses you. I don't want my mommy to be sad anymore. And it's just like at this point, if you're married to somebody, why are you talking to your daughter about a dead man that you're so in love with? You know, I mean, I don't know. And look, once again, I just like to say this. This is the stuff that was on the internet. We don't know what's really going on in their lives, right? So I want to just put that out there. But when you hear things like this, you're like, what the heck is going on? And also though, when you hear different things, right, and you watch the way
Mhm.
these people interact
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
red,
I can hear you.
you can tell that the daughter is very she's very persuaded a little bit by the mom, or I don't want to say persuaded too much because she does seem like she has her own little her opinion and stuff, but I'm just saying like you can tell that the mother has made a big impression on her and that they have a closeness. And so when I was listening to the audio earlier, there was this thing where the I whip my hair back and forth, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened to the whole thing. I whipped my hair back and forth, right? She was doing this tour, opening up for Justin Bieber, and then after she was done, she said, "I'm done, Daddy. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing the tour,"
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they had already signed off with Thomas Jay-Z to do more. And he said, "No, you have to, honor your obligation and things like that." And which she didn't understand, and he was trying to explain it to her, and he said, like, I don't know if it was a day or so later or something.
It was. Yep, you
Came
right.
down with the freaking bald's head, shaved
Yep.
head. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how does a young child know how to protest like that? And I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying there has to be some type of imprint. You know what I'm saying? It has to be coming from somewhere. And then for her to say something so profound as, oh, mommy, because I wrote down the quote, mommy, daddy has a picture of a family in his mind and it's not us.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
That's too much. Where's she getting this? And so this
Yup.
is the type of stuff that when you kind of like look into it, it makes you feel like she is heavily influencing her daughter, if not her son. She's heavily influencing her daughter, and to
Now,
me,
Jason got an opinion too. If
yeah,
you listen to his album, the Siri album, he has a very deep opinion about his dad too.
yeah, everybody, and that chapter is actually called Mutiny, and so it kind of makes, I think, from Will's perspective, it's coming as if the whole family is just against him. So I'm not saying what was me to him. I'm just saying like that's probably his that's his perspective. Everybody's against me. And he talked about feelings and things like that, about how he never really cared about too much about, people's feelings. He more so cared more about their overall well-being. And I feel like something that he was trying to teach his daughter, which would have been a very valuable lesson to even at a young age. Okay, we can stop this tour after you fulfill your obligation, because that's teaching somebody work ethic, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll stop, right? But instead, she comes down with the shaved head as a protest, and then
Yeah.
talk about, oh, you don't care about my feelings, this and that. It to me, it was a lot, and
But I
so I,
feel like they raised their kids together very
yeah,
independently. And that's why I say I don't even put that blame all the way on Jada. I think both of them raised their
mm-hmm,
kids to be extremely independent. So when the time came, they were looking like, we don't have to do this. We don't have to participate in these type of things that you want us to participate in because
mm-hmm,
you raised us this way. Because I think both of them raised their kids differently. Because remember, even Will was talking about how when him and Jada got into it at one point, like he hit her with like a newspaper on the nose and was like, "Stop it,"
mm,
because he was raised in an abusive home
yeah,
Very.
and he
father,
didn't want to be abusive with her. So he
mm,
rolled up a newspaper, popped her on her nose, and was like, "Hey, stop this," and
mm,
stuff. So I think both of them, with their backgrounds,
mm-hmm,
decided to raise their kids completely different. And because they did, when their kids became very independent, it like sort of backfired on them
yeah,
because it's like, oh, you raised, like, I know I can speak for myself. I raised my daughters to be extremely independent,
mm,
very vocal. So when that stuff hits back, it's like, I'm gonna take it. Because I tell you to be independent. I tell you to be strong. I tell you to think for yourself.
mm-hmm,
So
Um.
I also got to admit that when it comes back on me, like I sort of put that in you to be different than I was, to be more vocal than I was as a kid, to
mm-hmm.
have your emotions said and have your emotions felt.
Crystal, let me pause you real quick. Moochie has to go, you guys. So we're gonna
Oh,
say bye to Moochie. Wish she could stay a little bit longer, but she's got some other obligations to take care of.
I'm so
All
sad,
right,
Moochie. That hurt
guys.
my feelings.
Take care. I'm
oh,
sorry, cause it ran over,
It
so
ran over.
I
I
gotta
started
go.
late because
Yeah.
my technical issues. So thank you, Moochie, for joining. We appreciate you. Thank
All
you for
right.
sharing your opinion. We appreciate you so much, and have a good rest of your night.
All right. Take care, y'all. Later.
All right,
see ya.
later. I'm trying to think where I want to go next with this. I still feel like people are not going to agree. I really don't care. People were making fun of me in the comments. I really don't give a shit. Um, I still feel like we live in a society where women get blamed for things more than men, and it's easier to pick on the woman. Now, I'm not saying Jada's perfect. I'm not saying Jada didn't bring some of this upon herself, but I do feel like she has gotten a lot of the blame. And we have to remember that it's a partnership, it's a union with two people. And
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith is no victim. And I stand behind that. Now, moving on. I want to talk us to talk about kind of just just marriage as a whole. You know, we've been seeing a lot of couples lately breaking up, and not just these new popcorn Hollywood couples. We're talking about couples that we really thought would stand the test of time. Um Couples that were considered goals. We've seen a lot of breakups. And I first want to ask you guys kind of how do I want to pose this question? When it comes to marriage, right? There's no perfect relationship. There's no perfect marriage. And this is why I find myself, as much as I want to criticize and judge Will and Jada and have my opinion, a part of me still feels like that's a 20 something year long marriage. And it's kind of like, if it works for them, it works for them. Um, how do you guys define, like, not define marriage, but like, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase it. And I probably should have wrote this down because I'm having a hard time gathering the question, to be honest with you guys. What did I say in the chat earlier? I said, I can't even think about it now, y'all. I'm drawing a blank. Y'all, please forgive me.
It's okay.
But I want to talk about just the institution of marriage. Like, what are your opinions about marriage today at our age? What you've gone through in your lifetime? What are your opinions about marriage? Do you still look at marriage the same way? Is your opinion slighted now? Has it changed? You know, how do you feel about the institution of marriage? Do you feel like people even take it seriously anymore? Like, just, what are your thoughts? The good, the bad, the ugly. What does that make sense? If that's like
No,
a
I got
decent
it.
question. Yeah.
Whoever, you can go first. It doesn't matter who you
You
want
can
to
go
go.
first, McKay. You can go
Hey, you
first.
can go first.
um, I take marriage very, very seriously. I feel like a lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like they don't honor the vows, and they're starting to treat it like dating. Where they can get married and be married for 6 months, and if it's not working, are we gonna get a divorce? You know what that? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, there's no work. Marriage is it's you're supposed to work at it. You know what I'm saying? And people don't want to do that. And the thing about it is, I know people always say it takes two, and it does, and that's for good and bad. So when it's going bad and nobody wants to work at it, of
Mm-hmm.
course there's nothing you can really, yeah, it's not going to get better. And then even when one person is just working at it, it's not going to get better, because and then that person, they got everything on their shoulder and they're trying to make it work, and then you have this one way of thinking, right, where the other person who doesn't want to put anything into it is just letting you do all the work and letting it lean on, and so then that one person that's doing all the work gets tired. And so it's just, I don't think marriage is easy, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that when people get through their trials and their, the season, because like you were saying, Crystal, there are seasons, and when people make it through those seasons, I think that's when marriage becomes one of the greatest gifts and greatest blessings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted really to really make it in my marriage, so that even through the tough time in the season, we could start helping other people and encouraging other people, like, you can really get through this. But sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes you do have to know when to walk away. And you gotta know when stuff is toxic, and when things can start to damage your heart, actually physically, not just emotionally. Like, I ain't about to, like I said earlier, I'm not about to have a heart attack. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I take marriage seriously, and I think a lot of people don't anymore. So
Do you still believe in love and marriage? And
yeah.
you still
Yep.
do.
I still believe in love. I still believe, and it just kind of makes me sad, And now the crazy thing is, like, there's a lot of people that's getting married that are closer to me. I'm getting invited to weddings, this and that.
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
wow, like, my marriage is going like this. And you starting to see other people get married. So it does bother me. but
Mhm.
it doesn't stop me from being hopeful. Like, I'm not going to turn into a bitter woman. Um, you know, it is what it is. Such is
Thank you
life.
for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Before
welcome.
I go to Crystal, just a brief intermission. Have to put this up here. Make sure you guys like this video. If you guys are new to my channel, please show me some love and subscribe. I am just a small YouTuber trying to make it in these YouTube streets. Please support me if you can. I know some people are from Miss K's channel and Moochie's channel. If y'all are not following me, please give me a follow. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe, put the notification bell on. That way you are notified whenever I drop new content. It is greatly appreciated. So yes, had to plug that in there real quick. Get these
Definitely.
likes up.
Follow my
Like Mo-
babe.
Get
like
the
Moochie
plug
says,
on.
Follow my
plug
babe.
on. Like Moochie says, put me up in that algorithm, y'all.
And you
Shout out
ain't
to Moochie.
wrong.
Shout out to Moochie.
Yes.
Now Crystal, I'm gonna pose the same thing to you. What are your opinions on marriage as a whole? Has it changed throughout your years of being married? Do you still believe in true love and just all that stuff? Is it tainted? Like how do you feel about the institution of marriage?
Okay. So
And
for
she
me,
laughed.
I know because I have a very I'm I'm conventional and then I'm unconventional at the
Okay.
same time because I believe marriage is beautiful. I believe marriage works, but I also like different people's marriages. So
Mhm.
I'm very accepting of other marriages. Monique will tell you I love sister wives where they have multiple wives. So that's why I say I have a very unconventional way to think of it because I'm a person whatever sincerely works for you and your partners or partner, let it be. As long as you're open and sharing that with everyone, whoever you're involved with, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
So it's not that I don't believe in marriage or monogamy, but I also believe that sometimes it might involve multiple people. It might look differently than what we're used to. I'm just very open to the differences because I think that one thing we get, sort of stuck in is that marriage is supposed to look a type of way,
Mm.
Right.
which is the only reason why I said I'm not saying Jada and Will stuff works. I'm not saying that that's perfect. All I'm saying is that it might work for them
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
everything. And I mean, it really might not work for us. It doesn't work for us, how they share. Her oversharing, him not sharing that much. It might not work for us. But somehow, some way, 24 years later, it is working for them. So I
Hmm.
view marriage completely different than most people do because I don't always put the certain standards on. It's just
Mhm.
two people. It's just, going through this and going through that. You might need that break. You might need that. Let me take a pause on this. I'm gonna go
Hmm.
have fun somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know because
Mhm.
everyone sincerely is different. And the time we're living in now, I'm not surprised when people take breaks, when people
Hmm.
go have fun with something else and then come back to what they know and what they're familiar with. I'm just
Hmm.
not surprised. And so I'm very accepting of it because of everything that people are going through
Mhm.
Hmm.
and their view of what love might look like. So I'm always very accepting that it might look different. How I want my marriage to work might not work for you, might not work for the next person,
Mhm.
and vice versa because it's your love. I'm a very advocate person and it's your love story. When my friends get married, when anyone I know that get married, I always tell them, I did a speech for my best friend. I said, make it your love story. Don't make it mine. Even if I've been with my person 15 years, still don't make my stuff yours because it's just not the same
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
everything. And I really want people to grasp that because I think we get so caught up in marriage has to look like this and marriage has to look like that. And even when you bring the Bible in it, baby, them people had multiple wives. It's a couple stories you can read where people had multiple people in their life.
Mhm.
So that's why I said, don't never make my love story yours because it might not work for you. And that's okay. Just make it yours and be open with your partner. This is what I expect. This is what I want. This is what I think our relationship should look like. So you can see, are we on the same page? And then know, hey, we're going to change at different times. Because I think people don't talk about that enough. It's the most craziest idea to think you're going to change at the same time your mate changes. That is a crazy idea. It does not happen.
No.
It doesn't happen. I can tell you that now. It doesn't happen. One is going to change. The other one is going to stay the same. One is going to stay the same. The other one is going to change.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And that is the problem. And then you have to decide, is it worth it? Do I want to stick through it? Do I want to be with this person? Is this toxic in a change or is this toxic in a lifetime? It's so many questions you really have to ask yourself. You can't even always rely on your friends to tell you to move on, because it's really a choice you have to look at yourself. Like, do I want to stay here? Is this a season or is this going to be a lifestyle? Like in 20 years, am I going to regret being with this person? Or in 20 years, are we going to meet at the same point? Because to be honest, you do not know.
Yeah.
And everything. And I think when we really start having honest conversations around marriage, around relationships, around love, that allows us to grow with people. We have such a misconception that everything just works like this. And it doesn't. It's a clap, clap. It's a snap, snap. It's a shake, shake. Like marriage is, so I promise you, marriage is one of the most difficult things you can ever go through, because it's a promise with a person and you don't know when you both are going to change.
Yeah.
Especially if you get together in your 20s and 30s. I might not be the same person in my 40s or 50s or 60s. I can't guarantee it. And they can't either. They can't either. You really can't. And you're making a promise to sort of grow together and accept each other through those differences, but there's still not a guarantee that you're actually going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I think that is what makes it difficult. And those conversations sort of get hard because we don't want to accept the fact that everyone really does sincerely change at different times. It's a very big misconception that everyone is going to be like, oh, well, okay, my mate is changing. Let me change. Oh, well, my mate wants this. Oh, I'm going to go with like that. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't think too many people think that way, to be honest.
They really do. And
I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people expect, they just kind of, they do their own thing. Sorry, I'm gonna let you go. I feel like they do their own thing.
Wait, what'd you say, Miss K, about doing your own thing? What'd you just say?
I said I think a lot of people just be doing their own thing, you know, and
they
then
do.
Well, that too.
Yeah. And
but
then
they
when they turn around and that's when you start noticing, like, wait a minute, like you over here changing, you know what I mean? So I don't really think it's like, oh, if my mate changes, I'm gonna change. I think it's a lot of selfishness to where people don't normally think like that and say, hey, if my mate is changing, I should be changing too. You know what I'm saying? Because there comes a lot of complacency. And so at that point, it's like, what you doing switching up? You know what I mean? And it's kind of a resistance. And that becomes,
and that's when the marriage counselors and stuff have to come into play, because sometimes you speak a different language and you're showing and trying to tell a partner that you're changing, but they're so used to you being a certain way that they can't accept the fact that you're different. They can't accept the fact that you're growing. It's like I said, especially when you get with people at a younger age.
Right.
Like, that's why I said the only reason why with Will and Jada, I'm like, y'all, it's 24 freaking years. That's a milestone in itself, regardless if they're separated, not separated. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy token. And we're trying to act like, oh, well, they should be like, and the truth is, we can't say that. We just can't. And that's why I said that's my only argument. I'm not saying how they share their love story, how they share their dysfunction is good for us. But maybe they really are trying to show people that down the road it might look different. But that person, and like I said, and it might be in some people's views toxic, but still they're trying to show that we're going to stay together because that it's a choice we're making. And our love might look different because we've now transitioned into a best friend love. And that's why I say I don't want to judge, because I'm only on year 12.
Mm.
I don't know what 24 is going to look like.
Yeah.
I don't know what 30 is going to look like. But what I know is this person I consider is one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it might look different. It doesn't mean he doesn't love me, and it doesn't mean I don't love him. It just might look different because I'm a
Yeah.
very open person to how love might play out and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
everything. And I think we don't, like I said, I think we just really don't have that conversation enough because people want it to look a certain way. But through changes, it just doesn't look a certain way.
I think a lot
Yeah,
of
like
people have a false sense of what marriage is, the realities of a marriage, and of course you won't really know until you're in it. What would y'all say in your opinion, like what would you say are the key factors to a marriage being successful, or at least you being happy in your marriage? Like what do you feel like, if you can answer that, what
I'm
do
gonna
you
take a
feel
shot.
like are important, or at least im- important factors that really make a difference in a marriage that people don't talk about necessarily, or people don't really consider, that are actually really really important factors?
Go ahead, Miss K.
I
Preach
think
to the
that
people.
thing. I think that one. I'll say and I think people say this a lot. Communication is a huge factor, and I've also learned over the years that your personal upbringings are a
Mm.
huge factor, because if you haven't seen how marriage works growing up,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you marry somebody that came from a single parent home, and then you're from a married home, you come from a married home, then essentially you guys are unequally yoked. You don't know, that one of you guys has not seen the example of marriage. And let's say the person that did see the example of marriage, like Will, he saw abuse in his marriage. I mean, in his
Mm.
parents' marriage. So that's
Mm.
another thing that leaves an impression on him, and that's something that he either has to make the choice to, uproot that and not follow suit, or you know what I'm saying, and do something different, right? But it's really really important to have a good example of what a marriage looks like, because man, oh man, if you don't. And then the thing too is, you could have a great upbringing, and it could just help you be the best man, it could help you be the best woman, you know what I'm saying? But I think it really really has some, it just matters. I have family members that they grew up with their parents in the home, but the father was the absent father in the house. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So all of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff ties in, because then that also shows you how normal it could be. I was having a conversation with a family member, and she was telling me that, because of how things were in her household, she started to see stuff happening in her house that happens when she was a
Mm.
child, and she looked at it like it was normal. Like when y'all start living, you live upstairs and he lived downstairs, she didn't take that as, okay, I see a red flag, we're headed for trouble, because she saw it in her house growing up. It started to be normal for her.
Oh
Like, oh
wow.
well, my parents, they did
Oh,
this,
I
so
ain't
it's
gonna lie, I
normal.
love a good space, baby.
Yeah, but when it starts to when it starts to happen all the time, you got to nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
You really do. So it really makes a difference, communication, of course, and when we communicate, let each other speak, and really hear. Don't wait your turn so you could talk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So all those things, but yeah, that's one thing I've definitely learned over the years. There you go. Generational curses. Let's not normalize it like that
And
one.
No,
see,
for
but in
sure. For
today's
sure.
time, I feel like so many people have trauma. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like that is the regular. So it's so scary when it comes to marriage and relationships,
Mhm.
because even when it comes to just regular friendships, so many people in today's time have some type of trauma.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no one is safe. Like no
Right.
one has these just great examples of marriage
Mhm.
or friendships or relationships. Like it's so toxic.
Yeah.
So many people have been raised with the If I'm hurt, I hurt another person
Yes, yes.
and everything. Mind you, I'm a person like I've already went through hurt, so I don't want to see hurt anymore. I want to do love. I want to give love. I want to be loved. Like I'm a very love person. Monique will tell. I literally tell my chapter probably every other day. I love them because I want to really give love with the trauma that I have had. But
Mhm.
now you are really dealing in a society where hurt people want to just hurt people. So that's why
Yeah.
it's so hard
Mhm.
because relationships, you don't know if that person wants to just hurt you
Yeah, you can't
and
even
put on
trust
a
them.
mask
Yeah.
like they don't, but they do because they're
Yeah.
used to hurt. Even if
Mhm.
they were raised in a two-parent home, it almost doesn't even matter in today's time.
No.
People could have been come from a married home and still love chaos
Mhm. Because
and
they
still
probably
think
saw chaos.
and
Yeah.
still think you're supposed to go through
Yes.
to and then it'll be better.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't have to be like that because we could communicate and talk with each other and figure out what we want our story to look like. But so many people want to use their situations. Oh, well, this is how my parents did it. This is how my auntie and uncle did it. Oh, well, my
Mhm.
friends do it this way. Like we're so influenced by outside influences now
Mhm.
and everything. So that it's just to me, it almost gets like a little crazy because you don't know. Like
Mhm.
you'll trust the person, share your life with them. You know, you could tell a guy you're dating like stuff you went through, and I'm a person who advocates do not do that because they're going to use it against you. Like
Mm.
the second they get it, they're going to twist that around
Mm.
and use it against you. So that's why I said you have to almost be so careful now with
Mhm.
your traumas and what you went through because it's just completely different.
Yeah. It's super scary.
It really is. It's completely scary when you
And you
really
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, and when you get a certain age, I'm sorry, Monique, just want to say this real quick. When you
Uh-huh.
get a certain age, there's just certain things you don't want to put up with. Like you don't want somebody's baggage or you don't want somebody broken. Like I remember scrolling through Instagram and my cousin had this post and she was like, it said, "Come healed." Like
Come healed.
don't bring that brokenness over here. Come healed, okay? Because I don't have time. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're broken, then you're gonna try to break me.
Mm.
And the fact that people look at us like therapists, you got to be careful.
Hmm.
So
So go ahead, Monique.
I got two more things and then we're gonna dip out of here. It's been an hour and 8 minutes. Thank you guys again. Sorry for I started late. I had some technical issues. So thank you guys. Thank you to my panel for being patient with me. We're
Mhm.
almost done. I'm gonna ask you guys a controversial question.
Whoa.
Because this is a question that I find gets asked a lot, especially lately, recent years. And I'm always intrigued to hear what people think about this question, especially married people.
Mm.
Um,
I feel you, Miss K. Was like,
yeah, especially married people.
mm.
I'm just very curious to know. So I'm going to ask you this question. I want you to give me your answer and explain your reasoning behind it. Is my question is cheating a deal breaker for you within a marriage? Yes or no? And then I would like for you to explain why you feel that way. I'll start with you, Crystal, your facial expression.
Did she go off the camera now? Come on back, baby.
I need to go. No, I need my system to mess up. I need it to glitch real quick.
Lord.
So personally, I'm gonna say no, that it's not a deal breaker. And that's once again, like I said, because I never want anyone to model my relationships. I never want anyone to say, oh, well, this is the perfect love story. But for me, it's not always a deal breaker. Like I said, I watch Sister Wives, so I don't know if you really should ask me, but because in my head, like it just might look different. It really just might look different. It's not a deal breaker. I won't say that it doesn't hurt. I won't say that trauma won't be involved, but
Mhm.
like I said, it's a weird thing because it's like with your friends, you could be forgiving when they hurt you. So sometimes also with your spouse, you can be forgiving with when they hurt you. Um, it's just it's just not a deal breaker for me. And I think it more than likely has to do more with the fact of what I've probably seen in the past of
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
like the normalcy of it, where I
Mm.
won't say that it's necessarily a deal breaker
Right, right.
and everything. Because if we do the math, if we do the science, it's going to be more women than men anyway. If we do the math, if we do the science, it's women. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that men are just whores and girls are just, they're just there. Girls are just as flamboyant.
Right,
That like since they are, and we act like, oh my gosh, like it's just him, and it's like no, it's her too.
right.
So, like I said, I won't say it's a deal breaker. I won't say that I don't have forgiveness if it does happen
Mm-hmm.
and everything. I won't even say I won't get my lick back. I'm not even gonna lie. That's why I said don't ask me because the truth is the truth. Like, I got something for you, baby.
Oh, Lordy Lord.
Like, I'm just because we have a partnership. So it's like, that's why
Yeah.
I said I ain't gonna act like Will and Jada stuff is horrible because shit, I might be in entanglement in 10 years myself, baby. I ain't gonna lie. Like, why would I be lying to you? Because entanglement and keep my best friend or lose my best friend and have it, I'm probably gonna do the entanglement and keep my best friend too. I'm just like, just being very transparent. I'm gonna keep him
I
because that's
appreciate
my
that.
dude
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But that's why I said, don't mock my love story because
Mm-hmm.
mine is gonna
Right.
look
Yours.
different
How you
in
gonna work
another
it out? You
person.
gonna work it out.
Yes, because I'm more accepting of certain stuff. I know stuff happens. It doesn't mean that it's supposed to happen. It should happen, but I also know like stuff happens. So I
Right.
don't. I mean, I don't really don't take it personal. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't because I'm not. It's not because I'm not who I am. Because I'm a
Right.
bomb. I'm bomb.
Yeah,
I'm.
you're supposed to always know your worth,
He's
you know.
blessed. He's blessed that he's with me. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
No,
He's
that's
very
right.
blessed. He's so blessed. Doesn't mean he don't want another blessing.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Well,
And it don't
Blasphemy.
mean I won't get blessed. Once
shut
again.
up.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just sharing.
So,
I'm
Miss
just
K,
saying.
same question. Is cheating a deal breaker in your opinion? Within a marriage.
Um Before it happened to me,
Mm.
I um I used to say it was, but I was always careful to say I really don't know what I
Mm.
would do unless I
Right.
was in the situation.
Right.
But for me it was a deal breaker, but like I said, I always had that in my mind. And so when it did happen to me after 20 something years,
Mm.
um I of course it was super devastating, like super devastating. So like you said, we you don't you everybody deals with it differently, right? It's traumatic, it's all that stuff. And I'm a loyal person.
Mm.
So when a loyal person gets cheated, like it's just like whoa, because you want to get that same kind of loyalty. And
Of course.
so for me it's a huge deal for you to step out, and it makes me, and I don't blame myself. You know, some people blame themselves and I don't blame myself.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I can't look at you the same now. And I don't
Mm.
like liars. Like I always hated liars. So my thing is, if I can't trust you anymore, I have no more um what there's so this I don't want to say no more time for you, but it's just like I there's a word I want to use, but it's not, I can't get it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't have no more energy for you. Like
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
can't put it in there anymore, right? Um but I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think because I've tried to work it out, but
Mm-hmm.
certain stipulations weren't met for me. And that's another thing. If you do me wrong or you do your spouse wrong, you need to be humbling yourself and trying to do whatever you can to
Now
make
you
it
got to
work.
jump through hoops.
Exactly. You did this, so you got to
Mm-hmm.
jump through hoops.
Jump them,
And
baby.
and I don't know if if I mean I do know. I'm not gonna say I don't know. I know for a fact that my spouse is the type of person that doesn't like to kiss behind. But it's like, but you did what you did. So
Yeah.
now you gotta if you still want me,
Miss K, let's go out for a drink, babe.
right? Exactly. So you have to now. If this is what you want to save something that we've been at for since we were teenagers, then that's what you need to do. Why would
Mm-hmm.
you ruin your family? If I'm willing to give you another chance after all of this,
Mm-hmm.
then you should be willing to do whatever you have to do. And that's what I was talking about earlier. When one side wants to work at it. You could talk all you want and say you want to work at, oh, I want my family at this, at that. But when you don't do it, it's just like, okay, how you gonna say
But that's
you
why I
want
said that
something?
even people who have seen marriages, they
Mhm.
have seen people stick through things and haven't had to do the work.
Right.
So when they do you wrong, they assume that they don't have to do the work either.
Yes, that's a
That you
good
should
one.
just go with the flow.
That
And that's why sometimes people who have a background of married parents, that
mm,
doesn't mean anything, because the transgressions that their parents have went through, the wife was just accepting. So now they feel like you, instead of making them jump through hoops, you should just be accepting.
right,
Mm.
You should just
exactly.
be happy.
Let's
So you
move
still
on.
have to be careful, even
Yep.
with people who have a married background,
Hmm.
because their expectations is you're gonna put up with what I'm gonna give you.
Yes,
Because
yes.
my parents did it. My parents are
Yep.
still
Yeah.
married.
So
So
yeah,
you have to be super careful still.
yeah. And then you could get the wrong one like me. Who I
Mm.
you don't oh you're not gonna jump through hoops? Then okay, bye. We're not doing this
Mm.
because you're not gonna
When you
play.
wanna go for a drink? You wanna
You're
go for a
not gonna
drink
yeah.
tomorrow? You wanna go drink for We can go tonight. It's 9:50. Let's meet up. Are you
But
in
Yep.
no,
Georgia?
every
First of all,
day.
Miss
Are you
K,
in
Miss
Georgia?
K,
No,
Are,
no.
I'm in Jersey. I'm up north, baby.
Let me get my flight. Let me get my flight. I got you. I'm on my flight tomorrow. Look, let me go to Delta Sky Lounge tomorrow. I got my flight.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, because as a woman too, you got to know when to take your stand, and it will hurt. Because right now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I be hurt every day. Like I
Mm.
can't even put the radio on because almost every song. I've been with my husband for so long that I can't even put a song on that's
Wow.
from back in the day because it brings up memories. Then new songs bring up bad memories because
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm associating that the time around that I found this out. No, so it's a hot mess, and I'm really going
Mm.
through it. I'm really going through it, but I have
Wow.
to stick to my guns because I believe that I'm worth it.
Yes.
Even
Is
though
it a deal breaker for you, Monique?
even though he's made me feel worthless, I
Hmm.
know I'm worth it.
You're
I
definitely
gotta
worth
go
it,
through
Miss
the pain.
K.
Oh yeah,
You're
Miss Kate.
Thank
I'm
you.
coming to Jersey just for a drink, baby. You worth a flight, a hotel, and going to the bar. You daggone right, because I'm on the way. Let me figure out a reason why. I don't even need to figure out a reason why I'm coming. I already
and
figured out
Miss
the reason why.
K. I just wanna commend you, Miss K. I just want to commend you for being open and being transparent with us.
Oh,
You
you're
really don't
welcome.
have to, but the
Mhm.
fact that you are, I think it is touching people. You'll be surprised who it's affecting, and you know what I mean. And I think all your viewers are definitely appreciative of your transparency, and you
Thank you.
know, you definitely have my support during this difficult time. I know I'm younger, I'm not married, but any way that I can lend a helping hand or support to you, I'm definitely will be there
I'm
for
gonna
you.
make Monique catch a flight too. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
Oh,
We
I'm
we
definitely
coming to
coming. I'm
Jersey. Come
definitely
on, me and Monique's in the plan. It's October now. We can get there in a couple months, Monique. We finna plan. We finna
yeah.
figure this out.
Oh,
We
we're
going for
definitely gonna be
drinks.
doing like a meetup for sure. I think next year, it's
Yeah.
almost next year anyway. So, but yeah,
Yeah, we have
um,
to hang
but yeah,
out.
for me, it's hard to answer that because I haven't been married. Like my initial thought and feeling is to say yes, it's a deal breaker. To be honest,
Yeah.
I get frustrated because I feel like society, especially this younger generation, I feel like we accept cheating as such a norm. Like it's in our culture, it's in our music, it's in this, it's in that. It's just
Mhm.
embedded in our culture as if it's just the norm, as if we're just supposed to accept cheating. And I think it's the ultimate betrayal. I think it's one of the worst things you can do to someone that you supposedly love. You know what I mean? So on one hand, I want to say, yes, it's a deal breaker. You're supposed to leave. You're supposed to end the relationship. You're supposed to do that. But I also know that when it comes to marriage,
Mhm.
things are a little bit different. Stakes are a little bit higher. Don't even bring up children if there's children
Oh
involved.
yeah,
You know what I
cheat
mean?
cheat
So
dating, baby. I ain't gonna hold you, but cheat dating.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
cheat while
Don't
you're
take
dating.
that serious at all.
Yeah.
Hey, player from the Himalayas.
But yeah,
I
I
ain't
feel
gonna
like a
hold
part of
y'all,
me
but I'm just saying.
a part of me
Mm-mm.
feels like you're supposed to respect your vows, and I feel like it should be a deal breaker. I feel like we accept cheating way too much. But again,
We
like I said,
do. We do.
I get it. When it's a marriage, stakes are higher, things are different. So I never judge anybody who feels like they want to work it out in their marriage. If you want to work it out in your marriage, you do that. Do what you have to do to push
Mhm.
through, to get through it. I will say definitely put up boundaries. Don't just make it a cakewalk for them.
Jump through them
You know
hoops.
what I mean? They definitely
Right.
should be. They should definitely be in the doghouse, and so something got to happen. Woo, 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 woo.
Yep.
Something got to happen so that they don't do it again. But
Right.
um, so
Yep.
I'm a little personally
Conflicted with it.
conflicted with that topic of the cheat.
Mhm.
I just hate how accepted it is and how normal it is, and I just don't like that. But yeah, so in closing, I want to ask y'all this. Just in closing, if both of you could give a piece of advice for anyone out there, whether they're single, whether they're married, whether they're divorced, whatever, if you could just like a piece of advice you would give to someone who is newly entering a marriage, what are some things that have worked for you, that have kept you going, that you would pass along to somebody else, words of wisdom, things that you didn't know going in that you learned later on and wish somebody would have told you, anything
Mhm.
like that, anything like that. Go ahead, Miss K, I'll have you go first.
Uh, oh
I'm sorry if this is triggering you.
man. It's okay. I just I don't know. I think that you just I really don't even know what to say right now. Like
Okay.
maybe I'm not at that level
Mm-hmm.
um because I'm just in the stage of trying to encourage people to push past pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not really sure how to encourage somebody who's entering into a marriage. The
Mm.
only thing that I could probably say is um maybe you should do counseling, like stay in counseling for a little
Mm.
while, maybe even
Yeah.
the first year. You should do, of course, premarital counseling, but then stay with it and have married friends. I
Mm.
don't think that I'm not trying to say cut off all your single friends, um, because they're your single friends, you love them still, but sometimes single friends don't understand and they don't have the same kind of respect. Like my single friends were expecting me to go to the club with them and always party with them, and it's like that's not my life now. I have
Mm.
a husband, I have children, there's different responsibilities. Um, and so, it just comes with the respect for your spouse at the end of the day, and they don't understand that, you know. A lot of times they don't, unless they've been married. Some of your single friends that's been married,
Right.
they be knowing, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes. And they'll probably understand better, but the single ones they don't understand. And if your husband, the man, got single friends, you really don't want him around them.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I agree with
Because
that.
them ninjas don't care. They don't respect it,
Mm-hmm.
honey. But like I said, of course, I said earlier, communication. Um, you really got to have that, and do not share what's going on in your marriage to your family. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like you need to find a trusted friend outside of the family that you can share, because you do need to share. You need to
Yeah.
let some, stuff off your chest. But the thing about it is, the sometimes family becomes biased, and
Mm-hmm.
while you go forgiving your man or your wife, your family's still holding on to grudges,
Yep.
and they're looking at them all stink and everything. And you want to keep peace in your family, because what's going on in your household, they shouldn't be, that shouldn't be
Mm.
their thing. That's,
That was some good
something.
advice. Yes, SK.
Yes,
Thank you.
You pulled through, sis. You pulled through.
you did. You really did.
You did it, girl. What
Thank
about you,
you.
Chris?
What I have learned in being married is honestly be vocal.
Mm.
Be very, you have to be extremely careful what you're accepting of and
Mm-hmm.
what they think you're accepting of. If something rubs you the wrong way, if you don't like something, be vocal and have that communication with them that this doesn't work for me. Or if this is going to work, this is what I'm going to do in return. This is what our love story is going to look like. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important because as women, we're taught to take a lot of the brunt. We're taught to, be silent when we're hurting and we're going through it. And
Mm-hmm.
so we get very complacent with that. But I think being very upfront about your expectations of what you want your marriage to look like is very important.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and don't be silent in that and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Don't think your partner knows what you're thinking. You let them know what you're thinking. And give them the floor to let you know what they're thinking
Yeah.
so that you all can move as a unit versus feeling like someone's doing you wrong, feeling like your
Mm-hmm.
best friend is taking advantage of you and things like that. So I would
Mm-hmm.
definitely say be open. Be as
Yeah.
open as you can with what you expect with relationships, what you
Mm-hmm.
expect your marriage to look like and everything. Do not be complacent
Mm-hmm.
because and I guess because I also got married young,
Mm-hmm.
very young. I mean, I was like 21, 22.
Yeah, me
So I
too.
didn't know what I wanted. But like people now, they're more getting married in their 30s and 40s and things like that. So you sort of know who you I didn't know who I was. I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was a kid. So
Mm-hmm.
what we wanted versus where we're at now is completely different. So be vocal and stand on how you feel and be open. So when the transgressions or anything does happen, you can always say, like, I let you know that that wasn't accepting of me. I didn't accept that. I don't want that for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something I want to go through to call it love. Make sure you let a person know what your ideas of love are and what their ideas of love are to make sure it matches.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my probably my biggest advice to people. Make sure you know what their idea of love is and make sure you know what your idea of love is.
Yeah, it's the
And
love
make sure it
language.
matches.
You got to
Yeah, the
know the
love.
love language. Yeah.
That too.
And have that
Mm.
conversation of change too. I
Mm-hmm.
might change before you, you might change before me, but I'm going to give you grace. I want you to
Yeah.
give me grace
Mm-hmm.
because that goes a long way too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Another thing though too is that I could add is that I think to keep dating is very, very important. I
Okay.
feel like a lot what we do when we start dating somebody is we show them the best of us. And then
Yep.
when we get, like you said, don't get complacent. Then when we get them, you stop doing all the things that you
Yeah.
were doing. And that's very, very important. Like you have to continue to try to look good. Let's go out, you just can't make it boring. And um when you keep dating each other, when there's change happening, you continue to get to know each other. And that's the main thing, because
Mm.
there's gonna come a time where you're gonna have to get to know your spouse again,
And
Mm.
because who I
yourself
was.
again too.
Yeah,
And
because who I
yourself.
was back then
Mm-hmm.
is not the same of who I am now. What I used to like, I don't like that no more. I we went to this Valentine's day, like some type of couples thing. We did the love language test and all of that. And I realized when I saw my love language, I was like, wow, it changed. Your love
Mm.
language actually could actually change. Like
Mm-hmm.
before, I think I don't remember what I wanted before, but I think my love language this time it was very reflective of what I wasn't getting. And
Mm-hmm.
so it
Yeah.
was like, and I started realizing like these are the things that I need. And so that
Mm-hmm.
my love language before is probably like lovey dovey and gifts and this and that. And this time it was more like, I really don't remember, but it was probably with security. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I'm a
Because I
very
want some
security
security.
and stability person right now.
Yeah.
At this point, I want security and stability
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But I used to not be a gift person,
Mm.
but now I actually want you to shower me with gifts, and I want you to
Right.
plan special things that show that I am important to you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
before, I didn't really care about that stuff at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like it just wasn't on my list. But now
Mm-hmm.
that I expect that, I want that, and I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
deserve that
Yeah.
and
And
everything.
sometimes you'll learn too that your spouse might want, it has a total different love language, of course, and theirs is affirming. So now you got to start, telling them that they're this and they're that. And some people really need that. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
That's how they receive love.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So mm-hmm.
Wow. What amazing conversation we've had, you guys. Um, it's been an hour and a half, so it's time for us
Mm-hmm.
to get up out of here. These ladies need to go to bed.
Yeah.
Miss K got 50, 11 things going on. Crystal got a whole household to run. I want to say thank you to my lovely panel. I really appreciate you guys coming on here, discussing your opinions and being vulnerable, and just I think this was a really great conversation that we had, much needed for a lot of people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thankful for you guys participating. So, and I look forward to having more conversations like this on my channel. Um, where we can be transparent and dig deep, and I love having dialogue like this. So thank you guys
Yeah.
for me. Thank you guys in the
You're
chat.
very
You guys have
welcome.
been amazing tonight. Oh my goodness, I love the
Mm-hmm.
dialogue in the chat. Even those that don't agree with me, I appreciate your feedback. I accept all opinions. You know what I'm saying? I don't judge. I'm very open minded. So thank you guys for sharing your opinions in the chat and being interactive. Again, please like this video. If you are new to me or if you're finding me for the first time, please take the time to explore my channel, check out some of my older videos, hit the subscribe button. I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers.
Whoop, whoop.
Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I don't do this for the money. I do this because I like to do it. If the money comes, that would be great. If it doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
it won't, but I'll still do it because I enjoy it. I've met some amazing people on this platform. I've formed some great bonds, and I enjoy the audience. So, but I still want you to subscribe. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hit that
And
subscribe button.
watch.
And also, I know you guys are
Absolutely.
already following her because she's just thebomb.com. But if you just
What?
happen to not be following Miss K, please follow Rewind That with Miss K. She puts out amazing content. She's consistent. I don't know how she does it with her busy schedule, but she makes time for us and she puts out awesome content. So
Thank
please
you.
subscribe to her. I know you guys, half of y'all already are, but for those that may be new that come across my channel for the first time, please subscribe to her as well. And then my girl Crystal at the bottom. Anything that you want to
I'm
plug,
coming to New
Crystal?
Jersey. The only thing I want to plug is that I'm coming to Jersey. I'm literally about to plan my stuff out. I'm gonna get on the phone with Monique tonight and see the month we're coming because
We're
we're
coming,
coming.
Miss K. We're gonna
We're
have a
coming.
girls.
Yay.
Oh
I'm
shoot,
not
we're
joking.
gonna
We're
have a
coming.
girls' weekend. I
Yes.
I really do. We'll talk offline, but I
No.
do want to
Okay.
plan something. I think we should do something in the new year.
That'd
I
be
think we
really dope.
should. I really think we should.
I
I'm,
Yeah.
I,
I
I
done threw
think we'll
myself in
I
here.
think we'll come up north because the majority of you guys are up north. You, Moochie, Anita,
Mm-hmm.
y'all are up north. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
we should.
I'll make my way up north to see you guys. But we'll talk offline. So
Yes.
anyway,
Okay.
Let
oh
me
my
look at
god.
these Delta
So
flights. Let me look at these Delta flights.
oh my gosh.
Y'all are funny. I love
Anyway,
it.
we're
I
gonna
love
get
it.
out
I
of here,
love
you
it.
guys. Again, thank you to the audience. I greatly appreciate you guys for being interactive and staying with us. I love y'all. Even the ones that don't love me, I love y'all.
They love you, baby. They
Stop
just don't
saying
know
that.
it. They love you. They just don't know it.
And until next time, y'all, we're out of here. So y'all have a great night, and we will catch you guys on the next video.
Oh,
Peace.
thank you for a wonderful night, girl.
Of
Yes.
course. Now I'm trying to figure out how I end this on the iPhone because
Uh-oh.
I think I figured it out. All right, y'all. Have a good night. We out of
All
here.